Hey everybody, I'm Ben Higgins.
Hey, I'm Serena Pitt.
Hey, this is Blake Moynes.
Hey guys, I'm Brendan Scanzano.
Hi, this is Alana Milne.
Hey, I'm Lindsay Hamilton.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
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 And you're watching Bros Ceremony.
And you're watching The Bros Ceremony.
This is The Bros Ceremony.
Your journey's about to begin.
Recapping the week that was in Bachelor Nation and previewing what's to come in the next episode with some special betting odds.
Everyone can't wait to find out what happens next week.
Here are your hosts, Michael the Hound Dog Harrison and Adam Scully.
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Will you accept this rose?
Things are getting wild in paradise. Hello and welcome inside episode 34 of the Bros Ceremony. Adam Scully alongside Michael the Hound Dog Harrison. And Michael, this is it. Tonight, the grand finale. This is where it all comes to an end. 3 hours, City TV, ABC, wherever you're watching, it all comes down to tonight. What's your level of excitement right now?
When you said episode 34, by the way, I thought you were going to say Austin Matthews, the Maple Leafs, given the fact that you watched the Leafs All or Nothing documentary last weekend, all 5 episodes, which was fantastic, by the way. That's besides the point, but anyone who likes hockey definitely got to watch that. It's really, really good. What's my excitement level for the Bachelor in Paradise finale tonight? It is absolutely through the roof. I could not be happier to see all these couples find love. It's the greatest thing. If I'm honest, Adam, it's not that high. It's sort of lukewarm. I feel like the season started off quite strong and sort of tapered off toward the end here. But because I think, correct me if I'm wrong, I think we've talked about this, feels like there's way more episodes than there has been in the past on Bachelor in Paradise. So basically once they start coupling up these people, it's just not as good then, right?
Yeah, and there have just been outside influences, people, quote unquote, coupling up before coming on. And that's sort of how this show has progressed over the last couple of years. We've mentioned this before, the whole stagecoach fiasco a couple of years ago. But now with people DMing on social media and really seeing people before, Brendan and Piper, the whole, who are they actually dating for? Coming now, they've broken up. You hate to see that. Other Bachelor news, Dale and Claire apparently have broken up for good this time. So again, you hate to see that. But yeah, you know what? 3 hours tonight. I feel like the episode last week, which we'll dive into here momentarily, was about an hour too long, personally. But you know what? It is what it is. It's been a fun season. Here on the Bros Ceremony, we're going to look back at that last episode. Also, Bachelor in Paradise Canada gets underway this coming Sunday. For those in Canada, Thanksgiving Sunday. Happy early Thanksgiving. Gobble, gobble, gobble. And hopefully we'll have maybe a guest or two from Bachelor in Paradise Canada on this show here as the weeks progress. But, Michael, where we left off last week, it looked like Ivan and Aaron were going to go mano a mano. It was going to be UFC 42. They were going to get in the ring. They were going to do the weigh-ins and everything. And oh wait, they didn't fight. I'm shocked.
I'm absolutely shocked as well, Adam. It just completely crazy that they didn't actually fight at all. It's amazing how the preview made it seem like it was even crazier than it actually was. It's for the first time ever, I think, the Bachelor preview. They're so good at them, as we've discussed that ad nauseum. That there's just the previews for the episodes. Although to be fair, it still was pretty heated when the episode did start with Aaron and Ivan, and it just, like we were saying, I think on the last episode of the Bro Ceremony here, it just felt like it came out of absolutely nowhere. This massive argument between Aaron and Ivan, and yikes! Ivan found himself in some hot water throughout this episode. Not just with Aaron, it was not his greatest moment, I would say.
Yeah, and we'll dive into that momentarily here. But first, Ivan was telling everyone that, Chelsea pulled me aside. Chelsea wanted to talk to me. And then, he goes up to Chelsea, mentions this, and Chelsea said, no, he didn't. No, you didn't. And then they actually rolled the tape back. It was like, oh my God, this is like instant replay here. Good on Batch. And excuse me. And Ivan, oh boy, that this episode was not his finest hour. Or 3 hours. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. Well, unfortunately for him, he didn't, spoiler alert, didn't last the 3 hours because, it seemed like it was a weird reaction. I thought that they were pretty much it felt like to me, they're pretty much mostly against Aaron on that initially, until obviously then it was like, oh, no, he was lying. By the way, also convenient that during all this, Chelsea just happened to not be there with them during this argument that they were having. So funny. I wonder if the producers took her aside for an hour to be like, hey, let's just let this drama play out. But yeah, it seemed like they were weirdly sort of against Aaron. Well, certainly Riley and Aaron seemed like they might have had an argument as well. And then all of a sudden, I guess he was kind of proven right on that one, which was awkward for the rest of them.
Yeah, and speaking of awkward, a little later on, the rose ceremony, it seemed like this, the cocktail party during the day, which I thought was a cool little twist and change. It lasted for a while. So the rose ceremony is at night. New rose ceremony host, Wells, walks in, says, you know what, guys, looking forward to the rose ceremony here. But first, Ivan, let's go talk for a second. And you're sort of like, oh, what's going on? Everyone's kind of confused. And then Ivan and Wells have quite a conversation because something went down in the hotel when that tropical storm blew up Paradise and things got weird.
I can't help but feel like almost like the producers were like maybe wanting this to happen or whatever, because they thought this would be good for TV and good for drama or whatever. I think the story was that the producer accidentally left their phone out or some of that for Ivan to say, oh yeah, who accidentally leaves their phone out, by the way? No. Everyone is glued to their phones at all times. So it just feels like perhaps they were like, oh, this could be, we'll see. We'll lay a little trap maybe and see if he takes the bait, which obviously he did. And then he obviously broke the rules by seeing, I guess, so initially I was like, how is this woman that he was, why is she even there? Then I guess they had said later that she was going to be on Paradise or whatever, but obviously not good what Ivan did. But it felt like his cover-up attempt was almost worse than the actual crime itself. Him trying to, basically lie his way out of stuff and just sort of explain away what was going on. And yeah, it just felt like it wasn't so good. And I do love, by the way, that he said when he's apologizing to everyone, he said that he's going to regret it for the rest of his life. That felt a little over the top.
A little over the top. And one of the lines he said something along the lines of, you know what, love makes your heart do some strange things, or whatever the heck he said. But, no one was really feeling too sorry for Ivan. Riley gave him a pretty stern talking to after, their hug, goodbye, and Ivan left. So again, Ivan on social media recently was saying, whoever gets my first podcast interview, you're going to get gold. We actually have Ivan. No, Ivan's not joining us right now, unfortunately. That would really spice up things on the bro ceremony front. But Ivan gone. And as we move on here, there's only a couple of days, whoever knows how long is actually left on the beach here. And we had a newcomer show up, and that was Anna. Anna, she was on Matt James' season, ran into some hot water drama-wise on that season, but here she came on the beach, and some of the single guys were excited because someone else to create a new connection with.
And obviously, as I mentioned, when Anna was on her original season, Anna is AKA Claire Dunphy from Modern Family, AKA Julie Bowen. She looks so much like her; it's absolutely hilarious. She talked to a few different guys. Eventually, I ended up going out with James, and she's like, "Oh, I loved hanging out with James. It's so great." Blah 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 blah. Yeah, but it's like, wait a minute, you actually pulled Kenny and Thomas first, so he might have been like your third choice or whatever, which was kind of ironic. And also, by the way, mentioning James, we forgot to mention, we were wrong on that prediction. We thought for sure Tia was not going to give her rose to James. I thought guaranteed she's going to give it to Blake. She did not. That was were you surprised by that? I mean, it certainly seemed like James was going to be gone, perhaps.
Yeah, good question there, Michael. I appreciate it. I think. It seemed I was more surprised because the way Tia worded it was like a friendship rose. It was as if, their connection wasn't really a lovey-dovey one. It was more like, you deserve to be here to find your person. And I guess that's where it went. And actually, James was on a podcast that Becca and Tia do. I couldn't tell you what it's called. I just saw it on Instagram. And James essentially explained that to Tia about what went down during that. But yeah, I was definitely surprised because Tia spoke at length, ad nauseum, if you will, about a certain body part of hers dancing when speaking about Tatty Daddy. And it just didn't seem the connection was there with James. But hey, I mean, good for her for following her heart and giving James this opportunity, because it looks like James and Anna have a decent connection.
Yeah, so definitely. Yeah, it's you never know. Like, it's so late in the process. Like, it's not even fair, really, to be like say they actually did like each other, which it seems like they do. Oh yeah, are they? Is it expected? She's supposed to think she wants to be engaged within like 2 days of her being on the island. Is that the expectation from production? I'm pretty sure you probably shouldn't get engaged to someone within 2 or 3 days. That's just my personal opinion.
That's just a hunch. Yeah, 2 days might be a little. I mean, 3 days is fine. 2 days, that's where you draw the line. Over under 2.5 days. Now, speaking of James, a little closer to home here, and this blew up social media last Wednesday or Thursday, I believe, where it was announced that Aaron, who obviously is on the season, James, who is a bro of Aaron and is on the season. They were obviously good buddies with Brendan Scanzano, who, of course, has been on this podcast a couple of times, who we've had the chance to hang out with a couple of times as well, who's on Bachelor in Paradise Canada starting this Sunday on City TV at 8 p.m. Eastern. Put a plug there. They are coming to Toronto. So, Michael, I mean, it looks like we could be meeting more of Bachelor Nation.
I mean, it sounds, I'm going to put the over-under, I shouldn't say the over-under. I would say, what's the probability that Aaron, James, and myself become basically besties? I'm going to say 100% probably. And then I'm not even going to, I'll be like, who's this Adam Scully guy anymore? It's going to be, who is this guy? Who is this guy?
I mean, I'd be so far down the list of your best friends, plural.
Exactly. Yes. You have to have I think I have 18 best friends, but by then I might have 20. You never know. But no, yeah, it seemed like, they're coming to Toronto. I think Aaron said, well, he's never been to Toronto or even, I'm not even so sure, maybe even Canada before. I'm not sure about James, but yeah, it seemed like I can only imagine it's going to be a rager and a shaker for, Brendan obviously is super huge boys with those guys. They haven't seen each other in a long, long time. I can only imagine it is going to get crazy.
Yeah, and who knows? Maybe some content with the bro ceremony here. I guess as they say, only time will tell.
And speaking of that, Adam, I'm glad you said that. Only time will tell, because I'm sure if you didn't notice this is gonna be kind of crazy in the episode. Riley and Natasha at one point in the episode said, "Only time will tell." Did you notice that?
I didn't write it down in the 14 pages of notes I had from this episode. No, I didn't.
I thought for sure you would have. Yeah, they said clear as day. The only time will tell. Not even so sure what they were referring to. Probably some date or something like that. I can't remember. Doesn't matter. They said your catchphrase, and I thought for sure you were going to be all over that. And the fact that you weren't disgusts me.
Yeah, it disgusts me too. Maybe I should rewatch the episode before tonight's finale and just hear it, loop it, play it again and again. But only time will tell. Now, getting back to the episode. So yeah, James and Anna have this date. Seems like they have a pretty good connection. There's some sort of massage involved. But then someone else comes on the beach. Another Canadian. Someone else who we've spoken about before, and that was Mykenna. And Mykenna was briefly on this season when Chelsea came on, when the whole Alana and Chris fiasco, I guess you call it.
Wow, we said the same word. Wow, I love it.
It's like our teleprompters were just working at the exact same time. Wow, that I think we have to stop and to talk about that for a second. Do we spend too much time together?
No, Adam, we don't, because unfortunately, I don't know if you're aware, there's this pandemic thing.
That's right.
That has ravaged the world, and unfortunately, we haven't spent even close to as much time as we should have together. In fact, we haven't watched a Bachelor in Paradise episode together in 2 years, probably, or any Bachelor type of show in 2 years together. So the finale, as we said, is tonight. Perhaps we will actually be doing that. AKA, yes, we definitely will be watching an episode together. But I'm gonna say, we don't normally. Why are you?
I was going to tease it. I was going to have a whole spiel going about, will we watch together? Will we not? What's going to happen? But now.
Well, I guess that proves this is good, though, Adam. This is good content because it proves we don't actually plan any of this stuff or whatever, because I've ruined the surprise. I'm very, very sorry. I apologize profusely. And so, yeah, we don't spend enough time together, I would say, though.
The tables have turned. Usually I'm the one to spoil everything. And now I'm just rubbing off on you.
Yeah. Well, by the way, speaking of spending too much time together, I will say recently I tried to visit you at your luxurious condominium. Wow. And it's amazing how I honestly thought I was in the Twilight Zone. I was in a haunted house It was crazy. My GPS sent me to your building, but I guess it sent me to the building right beside yours because they're obviously pretty close to each other. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, maybe this is like a back entrance to the place. I'm like, oh, whatever, I'll go in there. Your name there was no Adam Scully there, but there was a G Scully. What are the odds of that? And G happens to be your middle name.
Right. Gregory,
exactly. So I'm like, okay, I guess I'm going to buzz in. This doesn't feel like the right building of Scully's. This is the weirdest thing. I finally get in, go upstairs to the 4th floor. And it's like, this is not I'm not like that crazy. I'm like, is Scully like sending me on up the garden path here? Like he's sending me to some crazy haunted house and I'm going to get shanked or something. It felt totally weird, this place. It was the most bizarre, random. And it was just right beside your building, but it was nothing anywhere close to your building at all. And I'm still convinced that you sent me down there just to basically to mess with me.
Well, I'm amazed here that you got in. Like you buzzed in and you got let in. I mean, you were texting me and I thought you were kind of messing with me. And I mean, because you know what, I would mess with you. You know me. I love a good prank every now and again. But no, it was kind of weird. But
I went to go down from the 4th floor. I'm like, okay, I'll use the elevator that I just went up to go down. The elevator wouldn't work the button wouldn't work to go down the elevator. I'm like, okay, what is going on here? Are you trapping me in here somehow? And I'm like, it was the most bizarre thing. But yeah, what are the odds that the building beside yours has a Scully, but also the same letter of your middle name? I guess the odds would be 1 in 26 on that one, come to think of it. But yeah, right. 26 letters in the alphabet. So
thank you.
But it was yikes. So the point is, I did not end up seeing you at all. So I haven't seen you in forever in person.
Right. Yeah, well, I guess tonight, I mean, and we'll discuss this more later on. There could be some content on the social medias in and around the live airing of the episode. But I mean, it appeared, Michael, that you got shut down by that elevator and were almost forced to take the stairs. Now, speaking of getting shut down, when Mykenna walked on the beach, it seemed like she was like she had a date card. It seemed like she was not getting a date, and there were tears. I felt kind of bad for her. I mean, she was talking to a couple of guys, and then, Aaron and Mykenna had this great conversation, seemed anyway. And then Aaron, everyone's sitting together. Mykenna walks up the stairs and says, "Hey, Aaron, will you go on this date with me?" He says, "Yeah, let's go talk." I was like, yeah. So it got a little awkward there.
Yeah. By the way, for the record, I did have to dig the stairs. Also, amazing segue by you to say shutting down. That was a great segue. Yeah. So yeah, like you said, Aaron and Mykenna ended up talking, and the way I guess they wanted to make this for TV or something, the way they framed it was almost like Aaron was somehow in the wrong to say like, sorry, like, I'm not interested in going out with you. Did you not get that feeling that it made it seem like it was just that the people were kind of like, again, still cold with him a little bit? It's like, you shouldn't be doing that. It's like, he was being honest with her. He was actually saying like, no, as opposed to just being like in front of the whole group, basically saying no right away. I think that would have been way more embarrassing for her if he said no right away with that. Like it was just sort of weird. I can understand why she would have been upset, but the way they made it seem like everyone else was reacting to Aaron was like, no, what did he do wrong here? It just felt sort of weird for me on that one. But finally, of course, she did get someone to go on a date with, and I'm sure you'll discuss right now your boy Ed.
Well, I think he's more your boy, Ed, because you called him the greatest human in the world. Is that what you called him?
Yeah, last episode, for some reason, I got really big on hyperbole, apparently, on that one. I said, yeah, Ed is the greatest human being in the entire world, yourself not included, of course, unfortunately, in that one. But might have got a little bit too much hyperbole on that one, Adam.
Maybe. Well, okay. And there were, I think, didn't Ed respond to you on Instagram?
Yeah, I think he said he gets it from the doctor guy, and was his name Dr. James? Dr. Joe. I knew it wasn't James. Dr. Joe. He said he gets it from him. So then, yeah, we're obviously speaking of, I guess I have 21 best friends now, or will be 21 best friends, because I forgot Ed is also a best friend of mine.
Yeah. So Ed elects to take Mykenna on a date, and that continued the bad luck, I guess, that Natasha's had throughout this experience on Paradise. So Ed takes Mykenna. They're on some rollerblades. They kept the rollerblades on while they're having a drink and their dinner. Michael, are you a big rollerblader?
I've never rollerbladed in my life, unfortunately. I think it'd be kind of fun, but I've never done it. By the way, I love when I can't remember who it was. I think it was Serena Pitt, actually, former Bro Ceremony podcast guest.
Right.
When it was like Ed was taking Mykenna on the date, she's like, "Oh, that's so nice," or whatever. And I love how Natasha was like, Is it nice? I'm not so sure. I thought that was a pretty funny moment. But to answer your question, unfortunately, I have not rollerbladed before. Have you?
I have. Oh, hundreds of times. Not recently. I was more of when I was a younger, when I played hockey. If you didn't know, I was a hockey player once. And during the off seasons, I would condition. I would do a lot of rollerblading. I'd actually rollerblade to and from my golf club, which is
your golf club brag.
Yeah, which is about 5 kilometers or so, just over 3 miles for those listening in the U.S. for the conversion. You like that? And rollerblading's fun. It's different, but I've never been on a rollerblading date before. That seems like it'd be kind of dangerous.
I've never even been on a date before, period. So I don't know how that worked exactly, right? So, but speaking of dates, Kenny and Mari had one. Let's not forget about that. They had some weird stuff going on in their sort of date thingy. Well, it was this episode, was it not?
Yeah,
and
that
it
was weird.
Yeah, they had like some person. I don't know. They're with
spiritual,
healing,
all
that junk, all that nonsense or whatever. But the I don't exactly remember what it looked like, but I just remember it's always funny, as we've mentioned before, when we write stuff down in our notes, because then we watch it, write stuff in our notes, and then a few days later I refer back to those notes for these Bro Ceremony podcasts. And this is what I wrote down. Is that a dildo Mari and Kenny are using? That's what I wrote down.
Oh,
I don't even remember what it was exactly, but there was something that obviously must have looked like they were using that. Did you get that impression?
Truthfully, Michael, I don't remember that, so I don't know.
I'm going to say it probably wasn't, but there was something in there that made me write that down. Do I remember why? Absolutely not. And I watched these episodes, by the way, completely 100% stone cold sober, because I don't want to forget anything or miss anything for these podcasts. So, and I still can't remember exactly what it was, but if anyone watching remembers exactly what was going on, please do share and let us know, because there was something that Mari and Kenny were using that seemed like that to me.
Seemed very strange. Yeah. And speaking of strange, wow, that was good again. Noah and Abigail. So they're, you know what, they've been one of the more comfortable couples, I guess you could say, in terms of longevity, with Serena and Grocery Store Joe. In terms of, you know, they got together early. It seemed like they have a great connection. They've been maybe a couple of minor hurdles throughout the way. But Noah and Abigail are lying down, and Noah says, you know what, I'm falling in love with you. And I don't know if it was the way they cut it or the way they wanted the viewer to perceive it, but from what we saw on the telly, Abigail just did not respond. And that was awkward.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure she did say something. Obviously, they didn't show that, but yeah, it was absolutely kind of strange. And I think throughout this whole process of the season, sure, you know, they've been, of course, their journey to find love. They've been close and it seemed to be doing well, but it does feel like they both have been missing something. They've been wanting a bit more from each other, type of thing, or whatever. Obviously, it all came to a head then, when he was upset about that the next day at the party there at the end of the episode. And that's how, obviously, that was a cliffhanger to this finale, is basically, will Noah and Abigail stay together, or will they be done for good?
And we're going to get to that here shortly, because before we sign off on this episode, I'd be remiss if, I don't think I used that right.
Remiss.
I'd be remiss. Is that what it is? Okay.
Yes.
I'd be remiss for us not to discuss Paradise Prom, the greatest event ever. So excited. The way back, playback outfits. Michael, tell us about your prom experience.
I never actually went to prom in high school. I was on a flight to Winnipeg to see my brother back in the day. I never went to prom, sadly. I'm assuming no one would have asked me to go to prom anyhow. So that's my prom story, which is there is no prom story at all. Yikes. Yeah. You really struck a nerve on that one there, Adam. Yay. What's your prom story? By the way, I love how they're like, oh, the 80s are so cool. Absolutely not one of those people, I guess other than Kenny, was alive in the 80s. So they have no idea. They have no concept of what the 80s were, by the way, in any way, shape, or form. But what was your prom experience like?
Okay, this just
while I cry over here for not having been to the prom.
This is getting weird now. I went to a couple of proms actually, Michael.
Jeez, a couple of proms. Wow. Sweet brag. A couple. Why two? Isn't there just one?
I got invited to another one. I don't know.
Oh, wow. Go because you're a hockey player, maybe? Brag.
No, I'd stopped playing. It was grade 12. I wasn't playing hockey anymore.
You stopped playing hockey when you're in grade 12?
I quit going into my grade 12 year.
Oh, but how? You played in the OHL. You had a cup of coffee in the OHL, which is amazing. But yeah, how old were you?
That was during my grade 11 year. I was drafted.
Way.
So I was drafted, not to go all hockey talk here, but
hey,
I was drafted on May 3rd, 2008, when I was in grade 10. And then went to training camp the following year, got injured at training camp. I tore my right hamstring. Something that happened 4 times in a span of about 12 months, which is not so fun. No. Anyway, and then I was up there with the Erie Otters for a couple of weeks with that hot cup of coffee, like you mentioned, during my grade 11 year. And then I stopped playing hockey heading into my grade 12 year. I still played for the high school team at Northview Heights Secondary School, where I went to high school, but also tore my hamstring again while playing for that team. So me and hamstring issues are... hamstrung. Yeah. It's
yeah. I didn't realize there was that many injuries from the hamstrings. Did you ever tear any groins and stuff as well?
Later in life, both of my groins.
Oh boy.
Separately.
Yikes. I was not expecting this to go down this road. When you asked about the prom, I didn't go to one. I didn't expect you to go to 2 proms. I didn't know that you'd stop playing hockey before you were done high school. The things we learn here on the Bro Ceremony podcast are astounding.
I think, you know what? I'm going to invite myself onto the H-Dog pod again, which you can find on iTunes or your favorite podcast platform. And I think we should just tell my story. Should we just do that sometime?
And just be super, super vulnerable. I will ask all these hard-hitting questions that will make you cry profusely. That's my goal. I want you to be sobbing so much to know that your life is in shambles. That's my goal.
Yeah, well, I guess I will have to wait and see if that hard-hitting interview on the H-Dog pod happens at some point in the near future. But we just spoke a lot about me tearing groins and hamstrings. So going into the prom, a certain couple was torn apart, to say the least. That was kind of a stretch there. I was really thinking about that for a while.
I like it.
So, Tia was contemplating not going to the prom because everyone's all coupled up. Everyone's all lovey-dovey. And they showed a slow dance scene where she walked off, and who followed her? Aaron. Aaron went to go talk to Tia, and Aaron and Tia had a little smoochy smooch.
Wow, again, stuff coming out of nowhere, and it's like, wait, what's going on? Obviously, the show loves to test these couples. Especially if they're a tight couple, they want to find ways to bring in someone else that they may be attracted to, just to see if they're actually solid or not. But that one just absolutely came out of completely nowhere, which was sort of strange. Which is also what sort of the Aaron, Ivan, and Chelsea sort of mix-up fiasco was happening as well, because the Ivan thing was completely out of nowhere as well. Mm-hmm. So it does feel like a lot of this stuff going on the latter part of the season, a lot of randomness seems to be happening on Paradise. Yeah,
a lot of randomness, and I'm there's obviously so much that they don't air. Like it's not to go off on a weird tangent here, but like the show Love Island, isn't that on like every night? For
in the summer, it's usually for a month. It's on, I think, 5 or 6 nights a week. Mm-hmm. And love that show. Tremendous. The narrator is the greatest part. He's so funny, making fun of everybody on the island. But it actually, honestly, it does feel like, I'm sure a lot of them won't eventually make it, in the real world. But because they actually are on there for a long time, there is deep, meaningful conversations. It actually, truthfully, is more, in my estimation, actually more of a real reality show in terms of them trying to find love or whatever, as opposed to, Bachelor in Paradise. It's every episode something happening to someone else to find someone else. It's so rapid fire, it seemed like.
Yeah, for sure. So, like that really came out of nowhere. It seemed like the prom they're having a good time. Serena was named the prom queen, and Joe the prom king. Yeah, that happened. And then the way the episode ended, everything took a turn with Noah and Abigail, and Abigail said she was blindsided. She was kind of heartbroken. And I mean, the way watching it, sort of the way I perceived it was that she ignored Noah the night before. And, when Noah was professing his love towards her. Who knows what actually happened, but that was some uncomfortable television at the end.
I can also see from her perspective as well, though, the fact that she's like, okay, yesterday you were saying you're in love with me, and then now the next day you're saying you're out with me. Like you basically want to break up. So I could obviously see how that would be extremely confusing as well. But we won't say exactly what may or may not have happened with their relationship. But if you've been following social media, there's some clues as to if they're still together or not. And not just them, on many other couples as well. It's sort of interesting to me that a lot of these couples have, I would have thought in their contract, it would have said like, you can't basically be seen in person with this person, or maybe your couple or whatever. But it seemed like they're all just breaking rules in that, in that accord.
Yeah. So you wonder if like a fine's in play or something, or I don't know, but yeah, it's especially because this would have been filmed May, June, sometime. I don't know.
Yeah. A long time ago.
But yeah, a long time ago. But it's been a thrilling season. It's been a strange season. It's been a different season, but it's been a long season. But it all comes down to tonight. 3-hour season finale, 8 p.m. Eastern, ABC, City TV, wherever you're watching. And Michael, I mean, it's been a strange season, like I mentioned, but still relatively excited going in tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. It's still cool to see how things play out or whatever. And, I'm sure we'll have a Neil Lane sighting, which is always a treat to see him on the show or whatever. It's always amazing. And obviously they also teased Kendall coming back for tonight's episode as well, which is like, oh my God, there is no rules on Bachelor in Paradise. So I don't know exactly what the contents of that conversation will be in terms of what she's going to try to accomplish with that. But there's definitely some things to be excited about for the finale here and see how it all plays out.
Yeah, I'm really curious to see how it all plays out. And of course, we'll be back for episode 35 of the Bros Ceremony, the J.S. Shiger edition. That's next Tuesday, where we'll discuss at length the season finale and also discuss episode 1 of Bachelor in Paradise Canada, where our good friend Brendan Scanzano makes his return to Bachelor Nation, if you will, and his journey to find love begins again. Now, Michael, of course, the season finale of Bachelor in Paradise gets underway tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern. You spoiled it earlier, but we are watching this together. And so to all of our viewers out there, stay tuned to Instagram because you might see some content.
Yes, I'm very, very excited. Like I said, it has been, I think I spoiled it because I was just so excited because it has actually been at least 2 years since we watched a Bachelor themed show together. And the times we did it, it might have even been after we'd already seen it. So we might have like watched the actual, the re-airing of it, as it were. I don't remember the last time we actually even watched a live episode together. It's probably because it's always on Mondays. I always work Mondays. Maybe once we've done it or something. I don't even know. So it should be pretty fun. Also, by the way, Adam, before we sign off here, we haven't mentioned it yet, but a new host, by the way, named for the Bachelor series, Jesse Palmer, former contestant, was named. And that seemed to be a split reaction on Twitter. A lot of people were wanting Wells because he's done, obviously, a very a solid bang-up job here on Paradise. But yeah, Jesse Palmer being named the host, that's a little bit, somewhat of a surprise, no?
See, it did seem like a surprise, kind of out of nowhere. Now, Jesse Palmer's been hosting, it's a show that airs right after Paradise. They're on surfboards. I don't know what it's called, but yeah. So maybe he's trying to get back into this sort of thing. Hopefully we can have Jesse on. I think that'd be thrilling to talk about. Obviously, he does some work with our employer at TSN. And, he's a former NFL quarterback. He's now a football analyst. Of course, he was the Bachelor. And so I think that'd be a riveting and thrilling interview. Hopefully we can bring that to you at some point here in the next little bit. That would be awesome to do. But yeah, it maybe came out of nowhere. What I want to know, like whenever, and hopefully we get them on, people who have done it, the dynamic duo of Caitlin Bristow and Tayshia, Wells has been great this season, but they're trying to be Chris Harrison at times. Like Chris Harrison had, the delivery, the lines, the gentleman, please, it's the final rose tonight. When you're ready, like stuff like that. That's just clockwork. And you think maybe they could, put their own shtick into it.
It must just be so hard because you've just seen that for so long. I'm sure if you're, when I become succeed Jeff Probst as the host for Survivor, I'm sure I'd be sort of saying a lot of similar things that he says as well, just because it's ingrained in the show. And who knows, maybe even the producers want that. Maybe they actually do want the host to sort of have that same sort of style. But no, it does feel like, you're right. It's just like, put your own spin on things because you're never going to, you can't replace, you're not that person. Be your own self and then be your own host. So, but I could see certainly, especially Tayshia and Caitlin not having, they haven't been hosts for years on different shows. They're not used to having their own style. So they're, I'm sure they sort of lean back on that a little bit. But Jesse Palmer, your host now for The Bachelor. I'm assuming going forward, like not just the one season. I'm guessing. I
think it's a trial, from what I heard. Whether it's just The Bachelor and Bachelorette this upcoming in 2022, I'm not really sure. But we'll have to ask him that very question when he joins us at some point on the Bros Ceremony. Michael, it's been a thrilling season of Bachelor in Paradise. It's been different. It's been bizarre at times, but it all finishes tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, ABC, City TV. Or if you're not watching live, maybe don't watch social media for a little bit because there will be spoilers aplenty. Will we see an engagement? We will see broken hearts. We will see tears. Hopefully, in the end, we see love. And that is what it's all about. 34 episodes now in the books. Michael, before we officially close the door on episode 34, are there any closing thoughts that you'd like to tell our viewers before we sign off?
Gosh, the last few times you've asked that question, I had something fantastic to say that I was like, I hope you ask me about it. But then I jumped the gun on this one a little bit because I said about the Jesse Palmer news that I should have held back on that. You should have then said that question. Then I should have said the Jesse Palmer thing. That would have been, profound. But I again, as I did earlier in this episode, I spoiled stuff a little early. I'm off my game this episode, Adam. I don't know what the deal is. Maybe I'm just a little too excited about this finale tonight. I don't know what it is, but I'm off my game. So my closing thoughts is, I apologize profusely for spoiling this for you, Adam, and for everyone else. I apologize profusely.
No need to apologize. I'll never forgive you, but no need to apologize to all of our viewers. But stay tuned tonight to Instagram, maybe some Instagram stories, maybe some analysis during commercial breaks, that sort of thing. It's going to be exciting. I can't wait. Maybe we'll have a special guest join us. Michael, I guess we'll see.
Maybe it'll be Jesse Palmer. You never know. Maybe he'll be watching the episode with us. You just never know. And also, by the way, speaking of Instagram Lives, decent shot this Thursday. Seahawks play the Rams, the Thursday nighter. Decent thought. I haven't done an Instagram Live in a long time, especially related to the Seahawks. Decent shot that I'll be on that as well. So stay tuned for that at Hound Dog Harrison. Bang.
At Hound Dog Harrison. Find him on Instagram. You can find me on social media at Adam_Scully. I haven't done Instagram Live since the old Skull Dog series during the lockdown 1.0 back in 2020, when we had hard-hitting analysis. We had viewer questions come in. We discussed a lot of things. Even the Rictator made a couple of appearances on the Skull Dog. Maybe we'll bring that back at some point. Maybe. Not sure yet. In the works. We'll see if we can get a sponsor both for that and, of course, right here on the Bros Ceremony. Michael, it's been fun. It's been riveting. It's been thrilling. But the season finally wraps up tonight. We'll have a full recap of Bachelor in Paradise finale on next week's episode as well. We'll recap episode 1 of Bachelor in Paradise Canada. For Michael the Hound Dog Harrison, I'm Adam Scully. Thanks for joining us right here on the Bros Ceremony, and enjoy the finale tonight.